Barend La Grange is the COO of the Privilege Foundation and former COO of South Africa Day. The initiative creates the platform for citizens, business, and government to work together in building a better South Africa and creating new optimism for the future of South Africa. Please welcome Barend La Grange.
I want to tell you what Elizabeth Taylor said to her six husbands. You know, she was married 6 times, all right? And on every wedding ceremonies, they said to each of them, I won't keep you long. So that's what I'm going to tell you. I won't keep you long. Relax. I experience a vibe here, a lot of energy of people here, sitting here and want to make a change in South Africa. We want to create hope for people, not only for us, for people, especially young people, and for our children. And we have the privilege to give people hope. But always the question is there, but how do you create hope when there's so many challenges? And Johan also mentioned a couple of challenges in South Africa. You know, what's happening in South Africa. But you can only create hope if you go over to action. We must do something about our situation in South Africa. And those kind of solutions are actually in our hands. You know, in 1994, it was a very uncertain time. You will remember, in April 1994, many people were very negative about the future of South Africa. But at the same time, that's month of April 1994, Rwanda had a genocide. They killed each other, almost 1 million people. I've been visiting Rwanda many times over the last 20 months. I visited them on 7 occasions. I just returned last week from Rwanda. And they've got a word there, kwibuku. And if you forget everything I say, don't forget that word. Write it down. Kwibuku. It means remember, unite, and renew. We can never say in South Africa we can forget the past. Never tell the people, get over it. Never tell a black person or brown or Indian person, just get over apartheid. We must always remember the injustices of the past. Always. Like Rwanda remembered what happened. And that is why they changed that country. They never ignored what happened. But then the second thing, they unite. And that was so important. The people of Rwanda, they unite. And they work together because it's not only now to create a better past, but to create a better future. So those people unite in such a way that they change that country. Today, it is the most cleanest country, not in Africa. I'm telling you, the most cleanest country in the world. But they didn't stop with unite, because that's an ongoing process. And that's also in South Africa. There's no such a thing that we all love each other. We've got a past, and we have different cultures. We're so diverse. You know, just like a husband and wife, you know, you always work on that relationship. And we must work all the time on our relationships, all the time. You never arrive. But the third thing is they renew. And that's important. That is how you look at the future. You remember always, you unite because we must work together in South Africa, and then over to action. They renewed that country, and they created, my opinion, the best, wonderful country in Africa. And the cleanest. You will never see a pothole there. There's no potholes there. The water is clean. The lights are on. The people are friendly. There's almost no crime rate. They've averaged an average growth rate of 8% over the last 8 years per annum. That's Rwanda. That is when you decide to reunite and to work together and then to build a new country. We can do it also in South Africa. They killed almost 1 million people. We had a peaceful transition in 1994. I don't think we appreciate it always. And people, you must admit, I was also negative in some way. After 30 years, we are still alive to tell the story. Who would have thought? 2 months ago, I asked the same question to Piet Krokamp this morning. You know, he's a political expert and commentator. I asked him, Piet, did you think 2 months ago that we will now have a government of national unity with Steenhuisen as Minister of Agriculture, with Pieter Groenewald of Correctional Services, and Grayton McKenzie is the Minister of Sport and Culture? No. On the political front, we managed that. No one thought. Most of them predicted that there would be violence before the election. The ANC won't accept to give over power. What happened? Yes, of course, it's going to be a bumpy road in the future. Of course, that's politics. But it's part of any country. Of any country. And the challenges that we have in South Africa is actually in our hands. You know, I was in 1987. It's 37 years ago. I was on the panel. Some of you older people will remember the program, the Hagnell Street economic program. I was on that panel, so I remember the statistics very well. The inflation rate was 17%. The interest rates we paid of our bonds were 24% per annum. Yeah? It was a state of emergency, and we couldn't export and import as we wanted. But that was not in our hands as citizens to address that. It wasn't. That's a political aspect. The challenges that we have in South Africa, potholes, lights, infrastructure that's not working, things that we can fix. And you are going to hear now stories now for the next 6 speakers, what they did to change this country for the better. The solution is not going to come from the top. It's going from the bottom. We will have to create models all over South Africa. And it's not a pipe dream anymore. They proved it already that it's possible. You will hear the towns, and even here in your own region, hear the Moot, how they changed the Moot. You know, even in the greater metro. But each and every one will have to be active in what we are doing to create a better future for our young people and for our grandchildren. You know, 80% of, they say 80% of the people who are in the church now are Christians. And I'm also from the Christian faith. And the Lord says, ek sorg vir die voëls van die hemel, ek sal ook vir julle sorg. Moenie bekommerd wees oor die dag van môre. Don't worry about the day of tomorrow. I will provide. But you know, this morning when I woke up, the birds daar op die draad het nie met hulle oop monde gesit, open mouth, and wait for the food to. The Lord will provide me. No. They go and look for the food, and then every day they provide. We can't just stay on our knees. It's fantastic. It's part of our religion. It's part of our faith. But it's time that you get up from your knees and start working. And then the God will bless South Africa. People are sick and tired of talking and negotiating, identify the problems and the challenges. It's time that we now go over to fix what is wrong in South Africa. And let it make us straight and simple. Fix the pothole. You can pray as long as you want. But if you walk out of the door, the pothole will still be there. Fix the pothole. Come in agreement with the government. Say how they can support. And if they don't support you, you do it yourself. It's your country, not the government. We exercised our democratic right 2 months ago. Now they have certain responsibilities. But the democracy also works. And it is in our hands. You know, Tudiman and Seller said a while ago last year, we have a choice in South Africa. We can either be active citizens or passive users of democracy. We had an opportunity 2 months ago to go to the voting station. That's democracy. But at the same time, we should also be active citizens in this country. Everyone must be involved. It doesn't matter how young you are, how old you are, we all have a responsibility. You know why? Because we want to create a future, not for ourselves, for our children and our grandchildren, because South Africa is the most beautiful and wonderful place to live in. To live in. I was in America 2 months ago. I watched the Rolling Stones, but that's nostalgic, you know? They had a concert. 81 years old, but they still performed as if they were 16 years old. Still rock. And we can do it also in South Africa. Forget about your age. You can still make a contribution to better South Africa. And because we are, most of our people of faith, I'm telling you, pray in the storm, but keep on rowing. Okay. If you forget anything, pray in the storm, but keep on rowing. I close. Why am I involved? And why are you involved? And why are people so passionate about this country? I've got 50% of my children lives overseas. I've got only 2 sons. One and his wife and 3 grandchildren. The eldest one is 13 years old. His name is Bjorn. 7 years already away. We see him every 2-3 years. You know what I want? Don't worry about people going or coming. The world is our home. The world has become very small. All right. Maybe if I was 20 and 30 years old, I would also take the opportunities. But we don't want people to go because it's not good in South Africa. Because that we can change. And the only thing that I want, in 6 years' time, he must, Bjorn, the oldest one, he must decide where he's going to work or where he's going to study. First 6 years of his life, he lived in South Africa. The only thing that me as a grandfather want, he must in 6 years' time consider South Africa as an option. He must never say, Grandpa, I would like to come to South Africa. Such a wonderful country, but it's too dangerous. The standards of the universities are not what it used to be. You know, the infrastructure, I believe, is going down the drain. No, he must never say that to me. And that's our responsibility. Sitting here, a lot of energetic people here today. Be involved. Don't give money to me. I'm at the Privilege Foundation. Where's Ferdi, the founder? Don't give money to a certain organization. Start your own project where you are. Make a difference where you are. Because it's in your hands. Let us do it. And let us build this wonderful country, each and every one of us. Never underestimate the role that you can play. And you will hear it from the other speakers, what they did. It's not always easy, but everything that's worth the while comes with a price. But the reward is worth the while. So I will encourage, and I want to encourage you today, Get involved wherever you go. Every person, doesn't matter if it's far as education is concerned and health or infrastructure, every person has certain abilities. And you make the change wherever you are. Thank you.